What is up, guys? I just wanted to come to you guys with a quick live stream. I know a lot of you guys see it after it goes from a live to a video, so you may be catching it late or maybe even on the podcast if you listen instead of watching us on YouTube. But I wanted to hop live real quick this evening just to, of course, we'll have the Q&A like usual towards the end of the stream. I only have time, unfortunately, tonight for probably like roughly 15 minutes in terms of the Q&A section. Of course, if you're new to me and just wondering who the heck is this guy, my name is Griffin. I own a home service business, specifically a pest control business in the Dallas, Texas area. And we've been in business for, about 5 years now. And on my channel overall, I just document that for you guys. So we started with less than $10,000. I say zero usually because it's just such a small amount that I sold a car, had a little bit of equity in it, took that and then ran with it, turned it into a six-figure business my first year, and I just document the good, the bad, the ugly. We're up to almost 1,000 videos overall on the channel, and I get most of my video and just content ideas from you guys specifically, be it from your questions, comments, things of that nature. I had no idea how many people were looking to start a pest control business specifically, but even just a home service business in general, not just pest control. Makes sense though, because we all just kind of get tired of, some of the corporate stuff that goes on. But yeah. So if any of that interests you, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. And like I said, we are starting to get better about uploading it to, podcasting platforms. The thing that I use is supposed to distribute it across, like, I forget how many different podcasting platforms, more than I even knew existed. But to the whole point of just the main topic at hand of today's live stream and video, I hear a lot, and I just heard this recently because I hired a technician, of course, recently. Most of you guys know, who's probably going to be, my number two, like my VP, so to speak, long term. But he got stopped by another, I guess it was a solopreneur, solo operator, so to speak, who had just supposedly, sold his business and was looking at, trying to get back into the industry. And he literally stopped my guy for almost an hour and a half, just saying how, this is how you should do it. I don't understand this. I don't understand that. And it was just, just the whole story was just mind-boggling to me, because the guy, he said he was in the industry for over 30 years. And then he managed to not build this company, it sounds like, into anything more than just his usual one-man show. And now he seems kind of bitter about it. He's like, I can do circle around any company in terms of quality of service and this and that and the other. And like me and him discussed after the fact, this is probably about an hour later towards the end of the day, it's like no one cares ultimately. Like, the thing that people care about in not just the pest control industry, but the home service industry, as a matter of fact, is one, who are you? Two, are you qualified via, what is your rating? Do you have a 2-star rating? Do you have a 5-star rating, 4.8? Like, what's your rating? How many reviews? Do you just have 5 reviews from your friends and family? Or do you actually have 50 or 100 or 1,000 reviews with like a 4.9 or a 4.8 or a 5-star, whatever the case may be? So qualifying you as a company, obviously, but then also how fast can you get out there? And how quick can they find you online? Let's be real, 90+% of business is found online anymore. The referral game, while it is great to have customers who refer you on a regular basis, it's not a way to grow your business long term. I always tell everybody, look, the referral game, that's just like extra icing on the cake for our business. We get most of our business through our Google business profile, Google ads, a little bit of Google local service ads starting to be sprinkled in there again all of a sudden, I noticed, specifically since April kicked off, which I'll talk about in a future video. And then obviously diving into other organic matters like what I consider Facebook group door knocking is what I refer to it as now, where we literally join all these local groups. We're not spamming them, but we do, go in there and anytime we're able to, within the group's guidelines, post about our services, we're going to do so. So let me see something really quick. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. And of course, the whole point of these live streams too is if you have any questions too, feel free to throw them in the chat throughout the way. But back to the subject at hand, this guy was going on and on and on and on. One, he sounded completely just delusional. He was trying to tell my guy that, and I don't know, who knows, maybe because he's an older cat, he was trying to, get him, so to speak. He was telling him that, we're able to just use deltamethrin and bifin, and that's controlling ants, that's controlling fire ants, that's controlling mosquitoes. I could go on and on about the crazy stuff this guy was claiming, but at the end of the day, it was just ridiculous. And then he was asking my technician, what are you guys using? He was like, well, we mostly use, either some type of Lambda product or some type of microencapsulated chemical. It can be other types, but for the most part, a Lambda related product is what we use for like just general maintenance. But of course, we use other non-repellents as needed for various issues at the end of the day. Like, we don't just use one or two different kinds. Like, we keep upwards of like half a dozen different chemicals in terms of sprays on the truck, and then we have baits, this and that. Like, it's not just one or the other, so to speak. And the guy was just downplaying and saying, I could do circles around not just your company, but this company, that company in terms of treatment quality, which was just laughable. But, he seemed very prideful of the fact that, like, customers deserve this exceptional service, which they do, obviously. But, like me and the technician were talking about, because again, my technician's owned his own business as well. We were like, if this guy is so good as he claims he is, why in 35, 36 years of growing his own pest control business, again, allegedly, like we didn't prove it or anything, but we're just taking him for his word. If you had your own business 30 plus years, and I think like 36 was what he said, and you were only able to grow it up to like, say, what sounded like a route at the most. He said he was doing somewhere around 12, I believe, 12, 14 stops a day. It obviously didn't matter that you were the best, because you weren't the best at what mattered most, which was getting your name out there, getting customers. Like, if you were truly the best, your business would show it. Like I always tell people, this is pest control or whatever home service business you're in. Like, everybody's doing shit relatively the same. Now, are there obviously technicians who don't know what they're doing? They're, newer to the game, or maybe they were taught wrong by somebody in terms of how to apply this or that, or whatever the case may be. Obviously, there are exceptions to this, but guys, this isn't rocket science at the end of the day. Like, everyone to a certain degree is doing the same shit. So at the end of the day, like my thumbnail for this video says, the best known is going to beat the best every single time. I don't care if you've been treating houses for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, since Jesus was first born. Like, I don't care. If you are not able to get the phone ringing, you are going to get your ass kicked in business, and you should just stay a technician. That just is what it is. If you're not willing to put in the thousands of hours that it's going to take to learn marketing, or be thousands of dollars instead per month to shovel that money towards a marketing agency or some type of, say you want to hire in-house, that's going to be even more with payroll taxes and everything else. Either way, you're going to pay some type of dues when it comes to getting customers. Because, the old school method of, I'm just going to go get referrals from my friends, my family, that's good and all. I mean, good for you. You're probably going to get a couple customers, maybe a month, maybe a handful, couple dozen at the most per year. Like I say, that's good little icing on the cake, but it's not something that we want to have our business rely heavy on, if that makes sense. That was just like, I don't even know if I'm conveying this message properly. I didn't script it out or anything. Literally no script whatsoever. It's just been on my mind ever since specifically that happened. I think it was Thursday when that happened. I forget which day it happened. It was either literally Thursday or Friday. It was shortly before I scheduled this stream. because I was like, man, I see this in all the Facebook groups too, like all these pest control professional groups, and there's so many different home service business groups out there. Now that we're looking at adding weed and fertilizer, like a whole new division in our pest control business, I'm also getting in some of those groups, and I'm seeing the same shit over there too. Like people having a dick swinging contest on, oh, I do it better than you. Like, who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, are you though? Are you really that good? Like, let's see. Like, show us. Like, what's your business? Like, how many reviews do you have? How many leads are you getting per month? Oh, you're getting like 2? You have like 5 reviews, 10 reviews, and you already have a 1-star? Like, you got to let your pride and ego just go out the door whenever you start this game. Otherwise, people, I mean, this is not, I mean, I hate referring to it as a game. Like, to me, it is a game because I thoroughly enjoy it. Like, anytime I'm on here working on my business, like, I'm thoroughly enjoying it as if like I'm like playing a video game or something. That's why I call it a game. But like, this is not a game. This is like arguably the most competitive thing you're ever going to do. So if you're going to be, you know, making decisions based off of feelings and ego and pride and, oh, well, I've been doing this and like, no one cares, man. No one cares. If you're not going to do what it takes to become the best known in your area, any service area that you're looking to service, no one cares. If they can't find you, if they don't know about you, if they don't see you everywhere, they're not going to do business with you. So, you know, the main takeaway in terms of that little rant, which hopefully the stream quality's been doing pretty good for you guys, by the way. I'll go ahead and start shouting some of y'all out now that we're about 10, 15 minutes in. We got Bug Out, Pest and Termite. What's up? Good evening. Good evening. Hopefully you had a great week, sir. Let's see, I don't know if this was spam or not, but Rebecca Davison was saying hi, good evening. Yeah, hopefully everybody's doing well, and hopefully the stream quality is doing well too. I'm trying something new with the mic. I found out that for some reason Apple doesn't support this mic when I'm using a web streaming platform, which is a whole other subject. But hopefully the stream quality in terms of audio and everything is doing all right for you guys. And I guess, like I said, I mean, the whole theme before we open up the Q&A, which, by the way, any questions y'all have, now is the time to start throwing those in there. Because, like I said, I'm kind of on a little time crunch today. Probably got about, I guess, about 18 minutes, as a matter of fact, for some Q&A. But now's the time to do that. Go ahead and shoot any questions that you have. But the whole theme, to just sum up tonight's, I guess, rant, so to speak, is no one cares. It's gonna sound mean. It's gonna sound mean. You know, don't shoot the messenger. No one cares how good you are, or dare I say, even how good you think you are, because some of y'all aren't even that good at this shit. Not gonna lie. I see some of the practices of some, I'm not saying you all, the viewers specifically. I'm saying, again, the people that I see in these groups and this and that with like thousands and thousands of people. You know, this community here is pretty small still right now, considering. But, you know, no one cares. You think you're good? Good for you. Prove it. That's what the customers are saying at the end of the day. Prove it. Where's the reviews? Where's the testimonials? Where's the video testimonials? Where's the, you know, reward for, you know, best company in X town? Where's, you know, you got to give them proof. And that's also why, by the way, when we talk about the Google Business Profile and other videos, Google Business Profile is going to give you more love when you start actually stacking up those accolades, because the Google Business Profile, and even now to a degree, Google Local Services and Google Ads, in the case of Google Ads and Google Local Services, you're going to pay more if you have zero type of reputation. So, you know, like I said, I mean, yes, you have to be good at the service that you are providing. I don't care if it's scooping dog shit. I know that's becoming a huge thing over the last 5-10 years, apparently now, is these poop scoop companies. You know, it doesn't matter if you're doing that. It doesn't matter if you're doing a pool service. It doesn't matter if you're doing pest control, any type of home service business. No one cares about if you are the best, because as long as they see that you have like 4.5+ stars and you have at least 50, ideally 100 to 1,000 or more even, they're going to be like, wow, a majority of their customers are pretty damn happy. And they're the first company I see. Click, call. You want to see some proof? I'll show you all some proof. And I'm gonna get into some Q&A real quick. Oh, come on. My keyboard shut off for a second. I'm getting ready to share my screen with you guys. I'm just getting my CallRail analytics pulled up here really quick. Let's see. So I can do it like this, maybe. See if it'll let me present. It may look kind of funky since we're doing the vertical stream where we got the phone or whatever, where it's not that widescreen, but let's see what we can do here. So we're going to share a CallRail. Boom. Let's see how this looks for you all. And ignore the little, if it looks like there's two people down here. There we go. Yeah. That's how I'm getting the extra microphone, just for anyone who is wondering. No, there's not somebody else in here tonight. It's just I had to pull up my iPhone and my desktop to be able to get this microphone to work. But anyways, hopefully you guys can see this all right in terms of maybe I wonder if I can just get rid of that and just do this. No, that doesn't change nothing, does it? That sucks. So hopefully you guys can see this data pretty well. Let me know in the chat if it just looks too blurry or small and we can move on. But you know, first time callers, and this is just the last 7 days, by the way, up 25%. You know, what's my point here with this? This doesn't just happen. Like, this isn't just like something that, you know, you pull out of your ass just by luck. So if I type in, and I'm getting this pulled up right now, pest control, Plano, Texas, and I'm getting this pulled up, and I'll get ready to share it here in just a second. Oops, what did I do? Try and get this pulled up for you guys here. So, oh, that's because I'm not in the area. That's going to look kind of funky. Oh, well, I'll just still pull it up because we still look pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and share this tab here. So keep in mind, again, very busy area. I have dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of competitors in my area, you know, with thousands of reviews. And again, I am actually way the heck out here in the Cotto Mills area. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like, way out here is where I'm at the time of searching this. So that's going to, like, as you can see, every time I move the map, it's updating the list. Even with this, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, boom, number 6. So overall, pretty much wherever you are at, if you search Pest Control Plano, Texas, which has a search volume of over like 2,000 a month, we are in the top 6. And again, if you're actually in the city of Plano, anyone that's there can vouch for it. Type it in right now. We're number 1 within our locations right here. Within about a 7-mile radius at this point, we are literally number 1 for most pest control terms. And for some reason, I wish it was flipped, but for some reason with rodent and wildlife, we are actually much further in terms of our reach. You know, I don't know why. I love it because we're getting some crazy big jobs lately, but it's about a 10-mile radius in terms of popping up number 1, number 2. How does this happen? Intentionality. What do you see here? Like, look at, obviously, Plano Exterminators. He's kind of an outlier because his name is literally Plano Exterminators. And he's been in it for 25 years, and he's right in the middle of Plano. But, like, what do you notice between, you know, all these companies for the most part versus ours? We've only got about 130 reviews where they've got 1,000, 2,000, 1,200, 4,000. And that's all who's beating us at this point. What does that tell us? That tells us, one, obviously, in terms of what do we have to do to get to that next level, it's just more review velocity, like we always talk about. So how do we get more review velocity? Well, either A, we can continue to spam our current customer list of over something like 1,000, almost 900 or 1,000 leads, customers, previous customers, things of that nature, saying, hey, please give us a review, which I do not suggest, by the way, or we can spend money in advertising. And with that advertising, we're going to get more leads, more customers that we can send reviews to. So, like I said, at the end of the day, all this stuff circles back around, going back to CallRail here for a quick second, and we can even pull up just overall activity just for you. Actually, I don't want to do that because, let me go back. I don't want to, like, expose anybody's information. I wish there was a way that I could, maybe I can do it this way. Just show you guys, like, our overall leads already. Here we go. This would be an easy way to do it. I just need to take off the phone number, take off the email. There we go. We'll share this one. Boom. Already, first week of April. First week of April is not even done. We got 2 days until we're through the first week. Or no, 2 or 3 days until we're through the first week. Already 19. These are legitimate leads, by the way, because these only get entered into GorillaDesk if they go through certain criteria that we have set up in Zapier. These aren't ones that, like, we put in. I mean, you can see here, source, Zapier, 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 Zapier. That's because Zapier is putting this in. If it is a duplicate, occasionally a duplicate will squeeze through. We go ahead, we convert it as a customer, then we delete it, and it falls off of the lead list. But every lead that's in here, these are qualified leads. And you can see, obviously, beginning of the year is usually relatively slow. I will say I was slightly surprised by how slow March was. But again, this is like doing minimal effort because I was hiring in March, like hiring, training, and I still am kind of quote unquote training to a slight degree, just on the phone with him quite a bit. And, just anytime I'm on the phone, it slows down what I'm able to do in terms of creative work, in terms of our ads and stuff like that. But point being, already at 19 leads. And again, this is not like me bragging. This is just me telling you guys, like, hey, this is what matters the most. It's not who treats the best, what do you use, how long have you been doing this? Like, no one cares. No one cares. All they care about is, will you show up fast, same day, next day? Because that is what has led our leads to skyrocket of late. The fact that I've now hired, he's completely out on his own with a truck and everything. We can literally answer the phone and be like, oh, yeah, racetrack, because we just got a call from a racetrack guy. If you don't know what racetrack is, it's a regional like gas station down here in the South. Racetrack in Plano. We can come. I can give you a quote right now over the phone, or at least a ballpark quote, and we will come confirm that for you first thing Monday. How does that sound? That was a call just from today, where if I was still on my own, one-man show, which is what I was for the longest, guess what? Probably would have missed out on that altogether. And to be honest with you guys, probably wouldn't have even been a phone call that got answered. So, again, you cannot do it on your own. It's going to take people. It's going to take time. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take even more sacrifice. It's going to take lots of money that I like to refer to as tuition to the game more than anything. Because think about it, with college, people go spend $40,000, $50,000, $500,000, whatever, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on education. What makes you think, if you have zero experience in this game, that you're not going to quote unquote waste some money getting your business off the ground? I could go on all night about this. I'm up on a little bit of caffeine, but I promise y'all we'll do some Q&A. Let's just take a look. Like I said, to wrap up just the entire point here, no one cares how good you think you are or how good you are, because a lot of you are probably good at doing pest control. Like, let's be real. It's, like I said a little bit ago, it's not rocket science. It does take months, if not years, of research and, trial and error in terms of different techniques and bait combinations, this and that and the other. But let's be real. If you put in 90% or 100% effort for 2 years, you got about 90% of what you need to know, if not more. Like, let's just be completely honest. So somebody that's been doing this with effort, again, for 2 to 3 years, knows just as much, more than likely, as somebody that's been doing it 20 years. Don't shoot the messenger. That's going to hurt a lot of feelings. Why do I bring that up? Again, that same conversation, that guy who's been in the industry 36 years, who, by the way, claimed he was a super honest person, but then literally told my technician when he sold his business, he kept his entire list of customers to be able to go hit them up. Honest guy though, right? He asked my technician what his role is, and when my technician said, right now I'm a tech, but I'm pretty much VP, is going to be my role. He was like, oh, well, how much would you all hire me for? With my experience and everything. And my tech was like, I mean, I don't make that call ultimately. That's Griffin that makes the call, but probably somewhere around $20, $25 an hour, like if I were to be a betting man. And the guy was like, oh, like, that's it? Oh my God, like, just offended by it. And he was like, what do you make now? Like, where do you work right now? Some flower company or something, landscape. Guess what? We looked it up, $20 an hour. There you go. So, like, so many people think they are worth more, and they think they are better than what they actually are. Like, the marketplace is undefeated. You are as valuable as the marketplace is willing to pay you. And that goes for your business. That goes for those of you that do have a job. That goes for those of you that are looking for a career. We all think we're better than we are, but we all have to be able to look in the mirror and realize, one, that we are the problem in terms of if we aren't where we want to be in terms of our business, in terms of our career, for those of you that are like, not entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs, you're looking to have a career and you don't really necessarily want to own a business, but you want to have a good career. At the end of the day, we have to be able to have enough self-awareness to realize, like, hey, if I'm not where I want to be, it's not anyone else's fault. It's not, oh, this company's screwing this company's doing that. It's the motherfucker in the mirror. Period. End of story. So let's get in to some Q&A this evening. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, I got my desktop right here, and I got the comments pulled up. Bugout says, I've done about 250 door hangers so far. I do a street when I get time. I've had 2 calls so far. That's actually pretty good, man. That's like 1% roughly, which is about spot on with what you'd expect, if not better, actually. It's funny walking the streets, seeing all the ants going crazy in the neighborhood. Exactly. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, that's good to know too. In terms of that, you passed out 250, and that's the rate that you got. I almost want to take a look at what your offer was, how it was packaged, all that stuff. Because I mean, 2 out of 250, that's not bad at all. Let's see what else we got. Brandon, how's it going? Said, do you need a custom trash service for owning a small pest company? I've thought of everything except this. If it's triple rinse, can you throw it away? Oh, yeah. I mean, always read the label, of course. I mean, I'm trying to think of a chemical label that like specifies that like even after triple rinsing, it has to be taken to like a special like dump, so to speak. I know in some cases, like some aerosol cans and things of that nature, I don't really use aerosol, so not necessarily something for me to like say with like, don't take this as like straight up advice or anything whatsoever, but just always read the label if nothing else. And worst case scenario, like say it's kind of unclear to you, just call up your local Department of Agriculture, be like, hey, I got this bottle of Lambda Star or whatever, and I read the label. I'm just want to make sure with you guys, how should I dispose of this? I've already triple rinsed it. I just want to make sure, like, am I good to pitch this? Or they're cool about, they appreciate that because it shows that you're trying to do things by the book ultimately. Let's see, how's it going? Tropical Fruit Loop said, do you like apprehend bed bug treatments? Oh man, were you in our Discord group earlier arguing about bedbug treatments? Us personally, what we like to use for bedbug treatments, let me lock my chair so I stop leaning back. There we go. Personally, what we've been using, actually since I started the business, essentially, for the most part, is either Alpine, and occasionally tempered. Sometimes we'll use tempered if we have to like go back for a follow-up, which is very, 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 very rare. But if we have to go back for a follow-up, that's going to be tempered more times than not. But usually we'll start with Alpine. And we used to use an IGR, which is where the conversation took off in our Discord group. Because yes, technically speaking, IGRs, per their label, say that, they help on bedbug treatments. Scientifically, it's been proven over the last few years, and it pains me to say this because it means that even yours truly has wasted some money early on in owning the business, does not actually help with getting rid of bed bugs. It doesn't. They're not like German roaches and stuff like that. Like it's not affecting virtually anything. Which I'm not gonna lie. First when I saw that, I was like, bullshit. I was like, there's no way. I was like, this is how I've been told to do it. This is again, we get prideful. Back to what I was talking about earlier. We get prideful, set in our ways. But the more and more that these studies keep coming out, so what did I do? Started testing it because obviously as a business owner, if we can cut some chemical costs, why not? IGRs are not cheap. I mean, even using Teco Pro, like that stuff's not cheap at 1 ounce a gallon. So I believe it's like 1 ounce per gallon is the rate for that. I forget because it's been so long since we've used it for bed bugs now. But so we started using just Alpine and then just temperate, and guess what? We were still achieving the same results. So apprehend, though, to answer that part of the question, no. And I'm not even going to say no because you asked if I like it. I can't say yes or no because I've never done apprehend. But, at the end of the day, like I go back to earlier in the stream, there's so many ways to do this. Like that's the beauty of an industry like pest control, like all these different home service industries, home service businesses, I should say, is it's not just like cookie cutter. Like as long as you are solving the problem, can there be more efficient ways to solve the problem? Like I was talking about in terms of using IGRs versus not using IGRs because it can save you money. Absolutely. I mean, if somebody is getting good results using Bifin for their mosquito services, I doubt it, but say they are. And again, it's going to depend on your area too. This is something that's not talked about enough, especially in these larger pest control groups where you got people in Europe, people in New York, people in Florida, Texas, Arizona. Like there's so many different climates, like something that's going to work there. Now, of course, with bed bugs, it's a little bit different, obviously, whole different species or whatever. But in terms of just pest control, like so many people get so argumentative and so territorial about like the treatment style and the chemicals and this and that. And it's like, man, at the end of the day, as long as you're having a good success rate and it's not overly expensive, you're not having to price yourself out of jobs, I say do what's working for you at the end of the day. Let's see. I think a few hundred good reviews is worth more than 1,000 just star reviews like these. Trying to make sure I'm understanding your comment correctly. I think a few hundred good reviews is worth more than 1,000 just star. Are you saying you're saying? Let me just read it how I'm understanding it. A few hundred good reviews, like let's just say all 5 stars, is worth more than 1,000 1-star reviews. Is that what you're saying? If so, I definitely agree, of course. But you definitely want to, like we talked about, get that up and up and up and up nonstop. Karate Chick, how's it going? Let's see. I'd say 90% of my customers tell me they chose us because of our reviews. People definitely take time to read them. It's a big deal, and I only have 28 so far. Yeah, and I mean, that's another thing too. Like, I don't want anyone to hear what I said earlier about, like, if you only got 5 reviews, 10 reviews, whatever the case may be. Like, obviously, we all got to start somewhere, right? But I see some of you guys, even some of you that watch this channel, there's one guy specifically I still think about to this day. I forget his name now. It's been roughly a year since I've even seen him comment on the channel. Hopefully, best to you or whatever. But, he was so frustrated, like pretty much calling me out saying like I'm full of shit about this Google Business Profile and this and that, even though I literally have screenshots that I post on here and even on live streams. I just showed you guys our call rail, for example. But he was just so frustrated, and I like understand the frustration. But when I went and did a little research into his business, he only had like 5 reviews in multiple years of being in business. And it's like, well, dude, like, yeah, doesn't matter how long you've been in business if no one knows about you. Like, Google's not going to give you a ton of credit if you got no review. If the last time you've had a review was 9 months ago or 2 years ago, like, Google thinks you're out of business. Like, you have no activity on that profile. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want anyone to take that the wrong way either. So I probably should have stated that, like, the whole caveat to it. But if anyone gets offended, oh well, sorry. But yeah, no, I'm sure you know what I meant too. But yeah, no, like you said too, Bug Out. They definitely read them, and what's gonna, again, speaking of recent reviews versus a year ago. Say someone does see your company, they go to read the reviews. And if they're like me, now you guys tell me in the chat if you all do this stuff. When you go and look at reviews, like say you're going out to eat, or it doesn't matter what you're doing, like you're just looking at reviews. Am I the only one that clicks on reviews and then filters it to like the most recent to show me the most recent reviews? Especially if I can see where like a company's been in business for 5 years, 10 years, so on. I like to see the most recent reviews. Like, let me know if you guys are like that in the chat too, because if a company has, say, like a 4.6, right? I know I'm like, okay, 4.6, like that's pretty good. How many reviews do they have? That like I start doing math essentially. Like, man, they've only got like 500 reviews. That means they probably had at least 10 people that were pretty pissed off. I was like, so let's look at most recent reviews, because if I scroll through, you got 500 reviews and your most recent reviews are all 5 stars. There's not a single one, and the reviews are recent. Then I know, okay, this company's got their shit together right now. Or in some cases, if it's like a national company, this location, this branch has their shit together. But if I go and look at the recent reviews, and either A, the recent ones are straight trash, 1 star, 4 star, 5 star, 1 star, 2 star, just bad, then I'm like, nope, I'm moving on. And then number 2, if the most recent review is from like over a year ago, or sometimes even less, like multiple months ago, I'm not as likely to go with that company. Like, if it's all good still, I'll usually be like, I'm probably at least going to look into them. But I'm still looking, because, like, that's what consumers do. Like, consumers are more informed now than ever before. So that is why, like, we have to be trying to get reviews every single week. Like, if we go a week now with no reviews, like, I'm kind of like almost pulling my hair out. Like, fuck, I hate when I see that my most recent review says 1 week ago. Because I want that shit to say like hours ago, a day ago, couple, like, and again, that comes with time, obviously, but it's just something that you got to be working towards. Our chemical supplier has a dumpster. That's pretty cool, actually. Let's see. Good point. Oops, almost lost the comment here. Never be scared to admit you are wrong. If you can do that, you are right in the head. I wasted time and money using IGR on bed bugs. I've been using Crossfire with pretty good results. Yeah, I've heard Crossfire too. One of my buddies who I mentioned on this channel from time to time that owns a pest business here in DFW as well, he has been using Crossfire pretty much for the longest. I think he's also used Tempered FX occasionally, and Alpine as well. I've been trying to convert them over to just straight Alpine too, but yeah, no, there's a lot of people that swear by the Crossfire as well. Alpine is good, Crossfire and Tempered. Yep. I would say those 3 definitely are kind of the standard. I don't know, like I said about Apprehend, I don't know enough about it because I've never used it. Let's see, how's it going? Endeavor Pest Management. Tempered FX is pretty good. Let's see. Doesn't kill life stages for time to time. I do include. Yeah, and like me personally with Tempered FX, like I said, we mostly stick with Alpine, and then Tempered FX is like occasionally like if we need to come in and do like a follow-up. I hate doing follow-ups with like the same chemical. I know technically speaking, like they're not gonna build up resistance after 2 treatments or anything, let's be real. But it's just a preference of mine that like if we have to go back for some reason, we'll go ahead and use that. Because also if for some reason there are any left, it's usually what, adults, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, sometimes they don't put a comment on review, just a star. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're clarifying what you meant. Yeah, let's see, just a 5-star. You want good quality reviews written. Yeah. I mean, if it's 5-star reviews, like you mentioned, if it's a 5-star, yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to just like 5-star, 5-star, 5-star with like no comments or anything, because that starts to look a little suspect. But Google, to be fair, has gotten pretty good, almost too good, to the point where it's annoying now, like to where they're actually removing legit reviews, like we've talked about over the last year or two, where like the whole worrying about like either fake or bot or whatever the case may be, reviews, the risk of like people thinking that's gone down a lot. But you're absolutely right that like you definitely want to obviously get reviews that are detailed, and even if they can throw some I love when customers throw keywords in their reviews. I'm like, oh, beautiful. But for sure. Exactly. First thing I do is click most recent. That's what I do as well. Let's see. I always check recent reviews, but if it's something serious like a plumber or electrician, I dig deep. Like, yeah. The more expensive, the more risky, the more we're gonna look into it for sure. Same here. And that's why, like, also whenever we are quoting, rodent exclusion jobs, termite jobs, whatever the case may be, like, we tell everybody up front, like, if we can tell pricing is going to be an issue, like, we just tell them, like, I'm going to be completely upfront with you before we even quote this, like, we are not the cheapest. Like, if you're looking for the cheapest, just let me know. That way I'm not wasting your time, vice versa. Like, because we do quality work. So if you want quality work, what we strive for is the best quality work at a reasonable price. We never like to use the word affordable, cheap, anything like that. We say reasonable, because at the end of the day, if you want fast, exceptional service, you're going to pay for it. If you want shitty, fast service, you're going to not pay as much for it. If you don't care how long it takes and it's shitty, you're probably going to get the cheapest product out there. Prime example, we quoted a job, this might have been Friday as well, as a matter of fact. I think it was Friday morning, yesterday morning. And I forget, because we've had a godly amount of these quotes lately. But went out there to quote the job, and the guy was like, oh yeah, we called you out because our normal guy, he's like 3 weeks out right now, 3.5 weeks out, and like we really want to get something done as soon as possible, which obviously it's a squirrel in your freaking attic, like, makes sense, right? So my technician goes around and he quotes it, and he's like, man, this one has a lot of issues, like it's probably gonna be somewhere around that I forget what it was, like $2,200 maybe, we'll say. And he went and told the guy, and the guy was just like, oh man, like I can't afford that, like just scoffing at it and everything else. And he was like, well, my other guy, like he did this and that, which I saw pictures of it and I can see why. He's like, he did this and that for like $300. And my tech told him exactly what I would expect him to tell him. Well, I mean, if he does it for that cheap, I can see why, you have to wait 3 or 4 weeks, because, I mean, I'm sure he has a bunch of people looking for the cheapest company lining up at his door for business, ultimately. But, you're going to wait, and you're getting a less quality product, ultimately. So that customer, in that case, only cared about, can this maybe solve my issue? And the quality suck, and I have to wait almost a month, but I'm gonna save, something ridiculous, 60-70%, versus some other client that we sold for an attic insulation job and an exclusion about a week or so ago. She was just like, whenever you can do it, let's do it. And as soon as we get done with the exclusion, I want to set up the attic insulation removal and remediation immediately. We didn't even really have to sell it. We just told her what we can do, and gave her the price, and simple as that. Like that doesn't happen very often, but again, that just shows you the different types of people that you're going to deal with in terms of consumers. You're going to deal with so many different types of consumers, but those are the two extremes right there. Literally in a 2-week period, we dealt with two extremes. We dealt with one extreme where they were just like, as long as you can get out here, do a great job, do it quickly, do it good, and not, just totally rip my head off in terms of pricing, let's do it. And the other one was like, if you're not going to give me the cheapest price where you're not even making money as a company, I don't want to do business with you. I don't care how long it's going to take. I don't care, how shitty the quality is going to be. I just want the cheapest, right? So everybody's different from that standpoint, but one thing does remain true, which is they look at the review, they look at the detail of the review, and they look at the recency of the review, because recency bias is a very, 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 very real and powerful thing in this internet age. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream. I've gone a little bit over what I expected to this evening. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream so far. If you did, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. I see we have something like 6, it looks like 5 or 6, something like that, thumbs up so far. If you have any last minute questions, feel free to drop it down in the chat. Otherwise, we'll probably get ready to start wrapping up here in just a second. I need to just take a quick drink. I see we already have one. I'm gonna try to let a couple questions file in real quick. My throat's starting to bother me a little bit, so we're probably here in just a second going to take a very, very, very short break, just so my drink's right here. I just don't want to guzzle in your all's ear since my microphone's right here. But yeah, any questions you all have, throw them out in the chat real quick. Otherwise, here in the next 5 minutes, the break's not going to be 5 minutes. I'm saying we'll be wrapping up here overall in the next 5 minutes. And I'll see you guys in just a second.
Anyone know what's on page 10 of search results? SEMrush can help you get found online. Try it too? Optimize your website, create content that ranks, and earn backlinks. Rank higher with SEMrush.
All right, we are back. Let me get the comments here, the chat pulled back up here for just a second. Let's see. Endeavor said, does your tech have experience in the industry? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you haven't seen our recent streams or videos, because I literally just mentioned him probably in the last, I'd say, video or two, because we brought him on officially at the beginning of March, technically end of February. It's like last day or two of February, something like that. This is his second full month now being with us, but before that, did not choose my drink wisely. Before that, he actually owned his own pest control business. He's my cousin, as a matter of fact, which everything just worked out as beautifully as I could possibly ask for. I'm not the type to do the whole, oh, we're mixing family and business at all, which we're not. Because, I mean, like I've told everybody, you know, the difference in terms of mixing family and business is if you're going in with like a partnership, which like we aren't. We have a profit share for, you know, this lawn care division that we're starting up, but like he doesn't have like, you know, hard equity in the business. So it's like I've told everybody that I would hire, be it family or whoever the case may be, like if we're not, you know, in the same vision overall, or like you're not meeting my expectations, wherever the case may be, like we can part ways. Like it's not the end of the world. I personally don't agree with like going in like, hey, let's start a business together. Let's do like, you know, 50-50 this, and like I cannot stand when people do that. I know it works in some cases for very, 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 very few people. But you know, it's you know, one of those things. But like I said, it worked out perfectly for me, for the business, and I believe even for him too, because like my goal for him is for him to, like I said, essentially be my number two long term, which in turn is going to make him a shit ton of money over the long haul, over the next 10 years or so, if not less. But yes, he actually ran a pest and lawn company in the Midwest for what? Three, maybe four, somewhere around 3 years, maybe 4 years. I forget the exact amount of time. And then he also had, like, I want to say a year or two under another pest control company up there before starting his own as well. And then, of course, we both have the same grandfather who had his pest control business for, oh my gosh, 30, 40 years at this point, in that same area as well. So, yes, did have quite a bit of experience. And I'm trying to pay him as much as I can, you know, because of that. And not because he's family or anything. Like I said, I mean, it's just he's valuable for the business ultimately. If someone's valuable for your company, you know, you need to try to do everything in your power to pay them. Like I try to give him every opportunity possible. You know, anytime a lead comes in, I try to schedule it to where like he's the one going out there because he can earn additional commission. I'm giving him bonuses for reviews that mention his name. Like he has all these different types of ways that he can incentivize to make more money until, you know, long term, like we said, we want him to kind of scale up as the company scales up to where he'll eventually be out of the field as well, and, you know, kind of be like a VP, so to speak. But you know, that's longer term. I'll keep you guys just updated in general on, you know, just of course, you know, how the business grows, and just, you know, it's gonna really start cranking up here now. I got some very, very good videos for you guys coming up soon about just, I've learned so much over the last month, which, by the way, quick little tangent, is also why the upload frequency has dropped. I'm sure you guys noticed that. Which I'm sure you guys have noticed over the years. Like I go through periods where I'm able to upload some of those short clips every single day, and then a video maybe every day or two, and then a live stream every day or two. And then I have periods where, you know, I got to pull back a little bit. That has been happening lately, which is why we only had like one video in the last 10 days. This is our first live stream in a week or two. You know, I would expect roughly a video a week, essentially, from me, a video or a live a week, roughly for the near future, because I've been working my ass off more than ever since getting out of the field a little bit myself. But to answer your question again, yes, he has quite a bit of experience. I would say a net of about 6 years in the industry, something like that. What's the majority of your customers? Monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly? Right now, for me, it's mostly monthly. I want to build up a lot more bi-monthly and quarterly. Yeah. I would say most is definitely quarterly. Of course, we have some customers that are on like monthly plans in terms of like our preferred protection, where they're on pest, termite, rodent, mosquito, you know, just our biggest bundle. But overall, quarterly is definitely up there. We're starting to get a lot more, like a compound effect on commercial work. Like I didn't realize like we have at this point, I want to say almost multiple thousands of dollars a month in commercial work, which is monthly, of course. For the most part, there's an occasional one that's like quarterly from way back when I started the business. But yeah. In terms of residential, most is quarterly. A handful is monthly that are like bundled with a bunch of services into one plan. And then there's a handful bi-monthly from when I first started the business. I thought bi-monthly was going to be the route we wanted to go. I ended up switching very quickly to quarterly, and some of them I've just left on bi-monthly, and it's been great for them, great for us anyway. So we've just left it alone. Both are happy, so it's all good. But yeah, for the most part, we tend to lean towards quarterly now. As a matter of fact, I can even show you guys, I was working on a Google Sheet that I'm trying to keep up with. I guess what I can do is I'll just cut all these names out and I can reverse that action. Maybe. Let's see. I'm going to share this screen with you guys. I just gotta... What's going on? Oh, my keyboard shut off again. There we go. So I'm going to share this tab with you guys. And this actually hasn't been... It's not super up to date. It's just a quick up to date. So I created this Google Sheet. Let me see. I have to pull it up here. Give me just a second. And like I said, hopefully you guys can see this. Let me see if I can kind of blow up the numbers and everything just to make it a little bit larger for you guys. Hopefully you guys can see it pretty well now. So I'm trying to do a better job of like keeping track of like our overall, obviously GorillaDesk has made it easier to keep track of churn, in terms of like, money coming in, money going out in regards to cancels and new recurring revenue added. They're getting better and better by the day when it comes to that. But I like to come in here and keep track of all of this as well. And again, I haven't been doing a great job of updating this, but I love getting a look at, okay, for every cancel, how many, recurring customers are we adding? So in this case, we've added 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 before we incurred a single cancel. And our cancels, for the most part, a trend that I noticed going back even a couple years, they tend to be our customers with like, the lower end, $35 a month. We're not having a lot of customers that are paying 40 plus a month. I mean, I say that, and then ironically, this one's 47 a month. But to be fair, he did say that, it's very temporary. Matter of fact, I need to hit him up in May, is what he asked. So, I'm not really counting that one, but technically that is over 40 a month. But my point is surprise, surprise, the customers that pay the most tend to stay the most. Prime example of this, we raised rates. If you guys seen, I posted on YouTube post about this, I want to say a week or two ago, about, the boogeyman this year that everyone's trying to avoid is raising rates. And it's not something that we, some people are evil and do, but it's not something that we enjoy doing. But to stay in business, we have to. Whenever, even when inflation isn't bad, the Fed's target inflation rate is 3% a year. What does that mean? That means at their target, they expect everything to go up 3% a year. So my thought process is either A, you need to be raising your rates once a year, 3%, or do what we do, which is once every 3 years, we're raising our rates 10%, because we don't just want to keep up with inflation, we want to exceed inflation. That way our business can, one, make money, but two, we can actually give our employees legit raises. Like, obviously, even at 10% in 3 years, that's not necessarily like a huge, it's 1% roughly. Now, obviously, some years inflation is negative, some years inflation is 1, some years, obviously, inflation is double digits, like we've seen for a year or two recently. But if you do not at least keep up with inflation, your business will die, period. So, an example of this, talking about cheaper customers fall off, and You know, the bigger customers stay longer. We did our price increases, and for the first time I did it without notifying anybody, which was actually against what I wanted to do, but it was a lot of I got a lot of counsel about that, because when we did it the first time, we did send out a mass email. It was very heartfelt, didn't use ChatGPT or anything, because ChatGPT was very new at that time, because it was like 2022 roughly whenever I sent that first notice out. And so, you know, it's been right around that 3-year mark since we raised rates, but this time we did not send any notifications. We just raised the rates as we saw accordingly, and that was that. And to my surprise, like I mentioned in that post on YouTube, we had like no pushback at all. Not a single cancel, and we still haven't had a single cancel, by the way. But we had some customers that we were forced to raise their monthly rate by $20 a month. Now, when I say that, don't think I'm saying 40 to 60. No. The customer I had to raise $20 a month was already a $200, it was like $190, but, you know, right around $200 a month client, in a, you know, giant property where it just had to be done. Again, if you do the percentages, it's right on par with what we had to raise the rate to. But, you know, we raised some of them $15, $20 a month. Not a word, not a peep, nothing. There was a customer who we raised their rate, shit you not, $4 a month. And that was the first customer and only customer so far, that I'm not going to say he complained about it, but he asked, you know, why was my rate raised? You know, he was the only one that gave us any pushback. And I gave him a very thorough explanation. I was like, you know, your rate has been the same for 3 years now, and we have to raise rates every few years to keep up with inflation. Otherwise, we will go out of business. Period. And he didn't respond after that. So who knows? Maybe he will end up canceling. I mean, it's hard to say, but you know, for the most part, as long as, you know, you don't try to just completely ignore the issue and give some bullshit corporate answer about, oh, you know, we only did it because of inflation and that's that. Like, yeah, you mentioned inflation, but like I literally broke it down in numbers to him. I was like, you know, we had to raise rates 6 to 10% across the board for all of our customers this year. Yours came out to 6.6%. So thankfully yours was on the lower end in terms of that percentage. But that was literally the number that we had to raise rates in order for us to continue to operate as a functioning, profitable business, because we are not a nonprofit business, unfortunately. So, you know, it's a tough conversation, but that's the thing, is in business, you can't just run away from tough conversations. Now, some people will say, me included, because like I said, I did not send the notifications out against my own, you know, what I was wanting to do. But I took a lot of counsel from other business owners, not just in our industry, but across various industries about this. And they were like, just address it if somebody brings it up. Like, because I was like, well, dude, like, what if you raise rates and they're like, oh, I'm pissed off about it. And they're like, then you address it. Because guess what? They were going to be pissed off whether you notified them or not. You know, and they brought up the whole, you know, does your electric company notify you when your rate per kilowatt hour is going up? No. Does your phone provider send you a notice that your bill's going up? Depending on what phone provider you're using, maybe, but most of them, no. Like, does the restaurant down the road notify you when they're raising rates on their food? Does McDonald's, like, does anybody? No. So, like, why do you feel like you have to notify people when you're raising your rates? That's just business. And, you know, when I shifted my mindset, thinking about that a little bit, I was like, I mean, that's true. Like, I get it. So, it was just a test run this time. I was like, you know what? I'll do it. It's not something I want to do, but I feel like in my gut that is something from a business standpoint that I have to do, just to at least, it's not what you guys know, I hate what ifs. And I was just sitting there thinking about, like, man, what if I send the emails out and then I get a bunch of cancels? But what if I don't send the emails out and I don't get any cancels? And that what if, you know, was just in my head for like 3 nights. And I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck it. And just one day I just went boom, 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 boom down the list, raise the rates, raise the rates, raise the rates. And, you know, that was over a month ago now. So, it's business at the end of the day. So, but yeah, this sheet here, this is definitely something, to get off that tangent, that I think you guys should definitely try to emulate. It's not rocket science. You put your customer name in here, that you newly acquired. If they pay per year, you can put them in this column. If they're paying per month, you can put it in this column. And then of course, you have your yearly here in terms of if they pay it per month, then it'll just multiply it times 12. And same thing when they cancel. If they cancel, it'll tell you how much you lost per year. And then in that green box there, you have your total yearly net gain. And I should add, this is a year. When I say yearly net gain, that is on monthly recurring income. That's not including your one-time services for like exclusion work, insulation, termite, whatever the case may be. One-time services, like this is saying in terms of your yearly recurring revenue from monthly or yearly or pay per service, whatever the case may be, clients. That is what your total number in terms of net gain is. So obviously, if this number goes red, you're in deep shit. Obviously, you don't want that number being near red. But of course, as long as you continue to make this gap larger and larger between cancels and new starts, that number is just going to continue to grow ultimately. So that was actually a good subject that I did want to bring up, which I'm glad. Who was it? I think it was Bug Out, who was just talking about like building up, the recurring revenue. That is a very good subject that we hit on as well here tonight. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't even see the comment. What's going on, Stefan? Sure, you said this in another video. How many active recurring? Actually, believe it or not, we do not have that many active recurring, but that number is spiking as we speak. Let me pull up my customers here on the back end. So it says customers with a service just under 300, right around 280, and total customers all time 847, as a matter of fact. So not quite 1,000. I thought we were closer to 1,000 than that in terms of our like overall list. But no, in terms of active recurring, a lot of it is the fact that we've been having a lot of commercial accounts being added on over the last year, specifically year and a half. Like I mentioned, we have a regional racetrack gas station that we're gonna go quote in Plano, which could definitely open some doors for us in the very near future. Definitely I don't necessarily like commercial work, but don't get me wrong. It's very, very good, obviously, in terms of building that recurring revenue up. It's just not going to be quite as profitable as, your residential pest control, if that makes sense. But yeah, so far this year, in terms of like total customers added, I think in terms of like recurring added, I think we're somewhere, maybe around like a net positive of around like 20 recurring, like truly recurring signed contract, everything. I started doing this sheet that I just showed you guys the last few minutes back towards the end of February. I want to say around like February 20, sometime around February 20th through 25th, something like that. So I missed essentially the first month and a half or so of data from that standpoint. I didn't go back far enough to pull it all, but I know we're somewhere right around like net positive of plus 20 on the year so far in terms of that recurring side. And like I said, that number, ever since I made the hire, is now spiking. It's almost like when you have enough people to fulfill the need same day, next day, versus 2 days from now, 4 days from now, a week from now, people tend to go with you more often. Like, who would have thought, right? So some of the revelations that I've had, I almost kind of just am like beating my head against the wall. Like, dude, why did you not hire soon, like earlier? Like, I know why I did. It's because I made some dumb decisions early on in my business journey, which we've talked about on this channel, to where I essentially tied my hands behind my back and I couldn't hire. But You know, man, I just really kick myself because I know just how much further our business could be had I not made those stupid mistakes early on. But hey, that's what this channel's for. So if you're new, go all the way back to what was it? July roughly of 2022 or 2023, whenever I started posting some of the pest control specific content, business content, and watch all of that shit. And by the way, I only make like a penny per view on YouTube. Like, YouTube doesn't pay shit. So I'm not saying do that because I make money off YouTube. I mean, I don't even get paid from YouTube but once every 2 months. So, and it's like $120 every 2 months. So I'm not making anything from this channel, like, at all. But, you know, if you want to learn from a ton of fuck ups, go all the way back 2 or 3 years ago and just watch all those videos. And I even tried to put it all in playlists for you guys too. Some of it I even look at and go, holy crap, I hope nobody watches this because this is actually wrong. I should probably start doing videos of like calling out some of my old videos, as a matter of fact. So I'm like, actually, we did that and that turned out to not be as good as we thought it was. So that's actually some good video content ideas for the future. But let's see, what percent of your business is recurring? That's a good question. Let me go into GorillaDesk. Look at the reports, and what we'll do is I'll just look at what this year's estimated revenue versus like next year's recurring revenue that's on the books. Let's see, reports, sales forecast. Oh, what's the difference here? Let's go 26. Oh, okay. So it's only a $25,000 difference. Let me pull up a calculator really quick. Calculator. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to get like an exact percentage for you. Let's see. So if it's a $25,000 difference. Oh, that's 250. No, that's 25,000. Okay. That would be, looks like somewhere in the ballpark of about 86, just under 86%, 85 and change percent. Because our recurring revenue is, like I said, just under $25,000 difference. So what I did essentially was I took this year's like estimated revenue, which of course doesn't factor any sales the rest of the year. It's just showing like if you do what you've already done on top of your recurring revenue month to month the rest of the year, this is what you're going to do. And then what is the recurring revenue for 2026? Based on not adding anything now through all of 2026. And it's only a $25,000 difference. So that's what I did that number based off of. So no, overall it's relatively high, because the other thing is when we do one-time services, say like rodent exclusion work, termite work, things of that nature, we have like yearly renewals in terms of their warranty, like a yearly termite renewal, a yearly exclusion renewal, things of that nature. Not to mention, one thing we've been doing a lot of lately is whenever, say we have like a rodent exclusion service specifically, we'll set up rodent boxes at the time of the rodent exclusion service, and then we upsell them on the idea of a general pest and rodent plan after the exclusion service to keep them as like a recurring customer, especially whenever we do insulation for them, because we're like, hey, you got this fresh insulation, we sealed up the home as best as we possibly could. You know, do you want to keep this stuff out and have us coming out on a every few month basis just to make sure everything's, you know, on the up and up? And more times than not, because they spent thousands of dollars on that attic, of course they want to protect that, right? So there's a lot of ways that we try to convert, but obviously there's some customers that say they have a random ant issue or American cockroach issue, something where, they don't really have issues too often, but they just want like a one-time service. You do what you can. What you do is you create a separate list, a smart view list in GorillaDesk is what they call it. If you're on the growth plan, they have smart views where you can create lists around your one. You can literally create these lists based on, which I shared a link to it in our Discord group chat, by the way. Somebody, I think it was Chad, as a matter of fact, made a whole video about how to utilize smart views where you can literally create different customer lists based on different filters. And you can create a smart view list of, say, past one-time service customers, import it into a remarketing tool like MailChimp that we've used before, send out mass emails or mass text messages to try to get them on another service. Or if you don't want to pay for a service like MailChimp, do it old school, just print out that list of the customers in your smart view that have had a one-time service in the last year, and then just cold call them or text them one by one. Hey, we did business before, just want to check in. It's a busy time of the year. Do you want a service? Go from there. You just gotta get creative when it comes to that. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we're about to be wrapping up before I get in trouble. Thanks for taking the time. Looking forward to talking someday. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I've had a lot of you guys over the last couple of years also just asking about, oh my gosh, like what would you call it? Coaching calls and stuff like that. I finally made like a Google form where if somebody wants to, for whatever reason, book a call or whatever with me, you can like submit the information on there. I've never created a form like that before, so hopefully it's working. But that's the best way to, I'm supposed to, let's put it that way, get emails if anybody submits a form on that. And I believe the options are like either 15, maybe it's 30 minutes, an hour, something like that, where we can literally just have like, one-on-one coaching calls. And by the way, if you're doing, because I know there's a handful of you all who follow the channel who are over that $500,000 a year revenue, we're trying to start setting up some podcast episodes to be releasing in 2025. I have one of you guys already in the works who is doing, I believe, close to $1 million a year, which is going to be awesome to produce that podcast for you guys. But yeah, I have an email specifically for that. And I'm actually going to have a new email coming out for that that's actually going to be tied to my business email. That way it'll be easier for me to keep up with those too. But yeah, that's specifically just, if anyone's wanting that, because I know that's one thing I will say, because now I'm getting ready to hire people for answering phones and doing a lot of admin work. The only thing I ask is like, don't bombard our phone system with calls. I get probably roughly a call a week, which I'm flattered by the way. Like, I don't know why you guys even want to talk to me in the first place like that. But, we get roughly a call a week of people on YouTube wanting to pretty much, chit chat, which I love and I'm flattered by, and we'll be doing events in the future, I'm sure. But now that I'm going to be having like people that I'm actually paying to answer phones by the hour and stuff like that, if you want to set up something, just do it through that Google form. It'd be the easiest way to do it. We can try to set something up. And of course, we chat in Discord, our Facebook group. I try to be as accessible as I can. Man, I got something in my eye. Discord is a little bit harder because I don't ever check messages on there because I get so much spam. I don't know what it is with Discord, but the spam is just atrocious on there. I've had people imitating my profile. I've had all sorts of ridiculous stuff over the last year or so. I guess it comes with the territory at the end of the day. But that's the easiest way. If you're wanting some kind of specific one-on-one, go through that Google form. And if for some reason you haven't heard back from me after a few days, just drop a comment in, one of the most recent YouTube videos, and I'll see the comment as the most recent comment being like, hey, try to get in touch with the Google form, and I'll investigate into it and get in touch with you if that's something that, you all need. But yeah, like I said, please, don't call the business line. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, no, as always, I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions after this goes from a live stream to a video, as always, just drop it down in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys did appreciate it. Once again, if you did, do me a favor and smash the thumbs up button. And as always, I hope you guys have a very prosperous year this year. Sending all the good mojos your way. Remember, Christ is King, and I will see you guys in the next one.